Hey everybody, Doug Rucker here with DougRuckerStore.com and PressureWashingSchool.com. Hey, last weekend of February 6th and 7th, we just finished another Difference Makers Conference, Jeffrey Blackman and I, and then we also had Pat Clark, Kelsey with Money Matters, Nick Terry, a property manager, my wife also spoke. But one of the things I wanted to show from that is Jeffrey Blackman talks about why you should never give up. And this is based on his life experiences. It's such a compelling story that I know a lot of times you guys and gals in the business, sometimes just want to give up. But I wanted to play that video or have that video on here so some of you folks could see it and hear his story and some of the things that he's been through, whether it's through life choices or sometimes just things just happen. Whatever, God is always there to bring us back. And I think that's a key point that Jeff makes in this video. Jeff owns a power washing business. He owns a parking lot striping business. As a matter of fact, he has a parking lot striping school with one coming up, I believe, either this month or next month. But he's also an author. He's written a book called Break Through the Storm. He has a clothing line, Never Give Up. He's very passionate about helping guys just as I am, that are getting into the business, and especially loves to share his story and why you should never give up. So I hope this is helpful to you guys. Just wanted to let you guys see this. This is coming directly from when we had the Difference Makers Conference last weekend, well, February 6th and 7th, depending on when you see this. And yes, we do have more of those scheduled coming up, maybe taking it on the road again this year. Jeffrey and I are talking about that. So again, this conference is all about business things. It's not about how to clean. So I had a great group of guys and gals attend this one and looking forward to doing more. But I just wanted to take a few minutes of your time because I do want to share Jeff's story with you and kind of help motivate you and inspire you. When things get rough, don't give up. Just keep pushing. Trust in the Lord, and He'll carry you through. And just always remember, when you're down and ready to give up, sometimes that blessing is just right on the other side. So let's get to Jeff, and hope y'all enjoy it and get something out of it.
A lot of times people see where you're at in life, but they don't understand where you come from. And I brung that over there for a reason. You don't see the book over there, but it says hurricane, how my life became a Category 3 hurricane. Well, as a young man, I grew up very poor. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I didn't get some of the amenities that a young man got at the age. I always back in the days, I wanted this bicycle. It was called a Mongoose bike. GT, swing, that was the popular bike. But I couldn't afford one. My parents couldn't afford one. So what my dad did together, it's funny, he took some stickers and he went to, remember the store TG&Y? And he put the Mongoose letters on there and stickers. And man, I got along with the other kids in the neighborhood, and I thought I had a Mongoose bike and I was fitting in. But little did I know, I'm going to talk about this. You all going to be the first to hear this story in the inside of my book. And it talks about never giving up and why I want to tell y'all why y'all should never give up as well. I didn't even want to do this week. This time of year is a hard time for me and my wife. And as I get into the story, I'll tell y'all why it's a hard time for me. But when you have genuine people in your life that you have to be there for, you got to go. And Doug is dear to my heart. I told this story in front of probably about 500 men at Doug's first conference. He gave me an opportunity to speak on his platform. So how could I let Doug down this time? I couldn't. I came in here hurting, tore up, pain inside. But most of all, I couldn't allow myself to not share my story with y'all. Y'all are important to me, whether you know it or not, because I don't want you all to ever give up. As I say, growing up, I was very poor. I grew up in one of the roughest communities in Alexandria, Louisiana, next to New Orleans. Every night, I witnessed somebody getting murdered or somebody getting shot, gunshots. I didn't grow up with a normal life. I watched my mother and father go through heartless times. I watched my father turn from a successful man to an alcoholic. I watched how he allowed his business to take him from the most important thing that was supposed to be important to him was his family. As a young man, like I said, I didn't get the amenities that most kids got. We had to make our bicycle. We took bicycle 20-inch rims to make basketball goals with wooden backboards, plywood. We would tear off the old abandoned buildings to make a backboard. I grew up that way. As I got older, I began to travel down this road that I thought that was going to lead me to a path of success. But the road that I was headed down never knew that it was a road of destruction. Dropped out of school in the 7th grade. Turned to the streets because I figured that I was a man now. By this time, my mother and father gets a divorce. Drop out of school. I turned to the streets. Barely knew how to read. Couldn't spell. But I always taught myself numbers. And why am I sharing this with you? We all in here have a story. We all in here have a story. And I guarantee you, you have reached some point in your life to where you wanted to do what? Give up. But giving up is not an option. We were designed to win in life. We are in a society, in a day and a time where we have to, when the current is coming against us, we got to have the tenacity to swim upstream when all the odds are facing against us. That's how I grew up. I grew up. I had no control over the hand that I was dealt. Either I was going to take the hand that I was dealt and play with it, or I was going to be like another statistics in the world. Who knew about spade? The game of spade. Who know how to play spade in here? Because a person has all the face cards, all the hearts, and all the diamonds. And she can be playing, but I have all the low cards, but all of them are spades. It may look like in the beginning she's winning, but I have the ability, what I have in my hand, to cut out everything that she play about, because even though my card is lower, the spade means that I can trump what she put out. That's the same thing in you. You can trump whatever been put in front of you because you have been given power and authority to cope over anything that you ever face in life. I began to travel down this road, hanging out with the wrong crowd. I began to selling dope at a young age. Thought I was the man on the block because I wanted to be able to help my mother. Tireless nights. My mother would come home, leaving from one job to go to another job. I can remember as a young man growing up, we didn't even have a heater in our home. Me and my two sisters would have to sit by the oven and let the door down to try to keep warm. That's what I went through. Even reached a point in our life when we moved, when my mother and dad got a divorce, we moved into another apartment. We didn't even have a refrigerator. We had to leave out of our ice chest. I can remember my mother coming home with blood in the bottom of her purse with newspaper from taking meat from her job just to feed her 3 kids. Young man going to the store to get 2 bags of ice. Time I get back home, 1 bag is melted before I can put it in the cooler. But I said I'm going to turn to the streets because I wanted to help my mother. But my mother wouldn't allow me to help her because she say, if anybody going to take chances in here and risk, it's going to be me. You're going to go back to school. So she thought I was going to school. I would skip school, go to the local pool hall where the older guys would be at. And I began to learn strategies that I thought that was going to be successful for me. But I found myself at a young age in and out of jail, in and out of jail, in and out of jail. So one day, I went to sit in front of a federal judge. I was facing 10 to 50 years in prison. And at that time, I didn't know anything about Christ. I didn't know anything about Christ. Couldn't nobody tell me nothing about God. All I knew that I wanted to get this money, and I need to get this money right now because I got a hunger and a thirst because I'm trying to be the man on the block. But little did I know I was setting my life up for destruction. Had every opportunity, y'all, in life. The odds were against me. And this is no race card. I was taught as an African American man, when you were born, you already came with strikes against you. You'll never be nothing. You'll never have nothing. You'll be just like the rest of these young men in this community. You'll be another statistic. They will no longer know your name. They'll know you by a number. As an inmate, I could have took it and ran with it. But as I began to travel down this road, y'all, in and out of jail, the federal judge told me, go sit in the corner. We don't know what we're going to do with you because we're tired of seeing you coming in and out of our courtroom. But how many of y'all know we all deserve what? A second chance. But I had a third, a fourth, and a fifth, and a sixth. I was on my 7th strike. Guess what? I got a light sentence. I went sit down. How many of you know that I got back out and did the exact same thing? I got educated in there. You do it this way, do it this way, do it this way, and you can get away with it. But how many of you know if you're doing stuff the wrong way, it's going to catch up with you? It caught up with me. This time I had to sit down for a little time. As they say, get your mind right. Sit down. Guess what? Got back out. Doing the exact same thing. The exact same thing. But this time, I was going from worse to worse. The same thing that I was selling, I began to do what? Use it. Begin to use it. How do you know, y'all? How do it feels to going from having everything to not having anything? I experienced it. 2004, I found myself homeless, sleeping under a bridge in New Orleans, Louisiana, using the same bottle of water to brush my teeth with, the same bottle of water to wash my face, the same bottle of water to wash up under my arms, the same bottle to heat up an MRE, and still try to save a little bit to preserve for the next day. How many of you know? I saw it coming to reality. The odds were against me. I found myself in a helpless place. To one day, I was sitting under that bridge and I heard my mother's voice say, Jeffrey, I didn't raise you this way. And at that point, the first thought hit my mind. I'm going to get me some dope. Now, I'm not going to use it this time. I'm going to sell it. Heard some people under the bridge talking. They were coming to Houston, Texas. I knew I had family here, but I had pride. How many of you know pride leads to a great fall? I had pride. Got in this car with these people, didn't know where I was going. Little did I know, I was on the road to destiny for a life change of my experience. Little did I know, I thought I was coming back to Houston to get more dope, to get on my feet. But when I got to that house, they came in, they pulled guns and they put them to everybody's head and robbed everybody in the house. And I hollered, I said, Lord, if you just save me, I'll serve you the rest of my days. From that day forward, I have not looked back to the streets. Why am I saying that? Because I thought that the odds were against me, but if it had not been for the falls in my life, I would have never knew I was an author. If it had not been for the falls in my life, I would never have knew that I was a businessman. If it never would have been for the falls in my life, I never knew I could be the husband that I am today. Womanizer, thought I had to have 3 and 4 women at a time. But I learned if a real man can love just one woman. That's a real man. A real man is not having 3 and 4 or 5 women. He's having one. I learned it as I got on this road here, y'all. In that book, I talk about storms. The storms come, they go, but guess what? They're going to come again. But this time in my life, I learned how to deal with the adversities and face them head on as a man. So why am I telling you this day? You're going to face adversities in business. You don't run from them. You don't tuck your tail and get away. You face them head on and let them know that you got power and authority over the situations that you're in. Your business don't make you, you make your business. I learned it. Man, everything going good. Life is getting tremendous. Things turning away. Life is just good. February the 4th was supposed to be one of the most happy days of my life. 2 days ago, 3 days ago, supposed to be one of the happy days of my life. What do you do when you get a phone call telling you they hadn't seen your son in 3 days? What do you do when you walk in the house and you see your son laying on the floor with his head blowed out, brains over the wall, dogs in the cage killed? What do you do? It was a room like this that rallied around me. It was a Doug Rucker. It was a Ron Musgraves. It was a Von Cross. They told me, you go back to work. You're going to stay with your family. We'll take care of your business. At that point, I want to tell y'all, don't you leave here thinking this is it, it's a disconnection. No, we are a family. And what family do is stick together. When you're going through something, I'm going through something. When you're going through something, I'm going through something. When you're going through something, we're going through something. We got to pull together as an organization. It's called the Difference Makers Conference because we are designed to make what? A difference. My life was tore up again. I didn't know what to do. Turn back to alcohol. Beat down. Didn't want to live no more. Ready to throw in the towel. Give her everything. I thought I reached it. Thought I had it all. Then I find myself back in this place. Could barely breathe. My wife looked me in my eyes. Told me, said, baby, it's going to be okay. Then I turned this way. I started talking to God. Lord, why you let this happen to me? Why are you doing this to me? I mentor young men in the ministry. I build them up. I speak in drug rehabs. I go into prisons. I go everywhere telling people about your glory. And how could you let this happen to me? My wife looked me dead in my eyes. She said, I dare you to blame this on God. This was caused by human error. Got back up. Pulled myself together. Because I knew it was a greater calling. I didn't know y'all by name, but I knew I would cross y'all path. Because each and every one of y'all came here carrying something. And it may not be what I'm carrying, but you're carrying something that makes you want to give up on a day-to-day basis. But what I can assure you, if you don't quit, you will win. When it seems like the odds are against you, you are winning. The enemy will never attack anything where there's no value at. Where there's value, there's going to be attacks. You'll never see a thief going to a junkyard to steal. You always see him going where there's value at. When you're under attack, just remind yourself that you are carrying something valuable down inside of you. Your vision is your baby. And you have to have the wherewithal, the tenacity to stand through the storms and give birth to what you're carrying in you. What are you going to do when the odds are against you? Are you going to run? Or are you going to stand and give birth to what you're carrying? It's your dream. It's your vision. You paid money to come here. You came here because you thought that it was something here. That's why you were here. I got good news for you, y'all. It was something here. It was something here, and guess what it was? It was just what you needed at the time that you needed in your life. If it wasn't up to one word, you got what you came here for. And my assignment is to tell you, go back, implement everything that you have learned here. It will work. It will work. As I get ready to come to a close, I want to share something with you, a story that was once told. It was a little boy in a neighborhood, lower class neighborhood, and his name was called Ray Ray. And one day they had a commotion going on in the neighborhood. And in that neighborhood, it only had one way in and one way out. And it had a little train crossing across, and it was just this low. Just this particular day, an 18-wheeler decided that he was going to come through. He was going to come through. He had just enough clearance to get up underneath the bridge. When he got up underneath the bridge, boom, it stopped. Traffic both ways. Traffic both ways. Here come, you hear the sirens. Here come the police. Here come the ambulance. Here come the fire trucks. All these commotion going on. They looking, wondering how they going to get this 18-wheeler from under the bridge. Who comes, lo and behold, riding by on a bicycle, thought he had a mongoose. He thought he had a mongoose like the regular kid. It was Ray Ray. Ray Ray said, hey, I can solve the problem. Get out of here, Ray Ray. We're going to take you to jail. Come back to him, still trying to figure it out. Ray Ray get off his bicycle. Hey, I can solve the problem. Get out of here, Ray Ray. We told you, you cannot do that. You're a troublemaker in this neighborhood. Get out of here. But little did they know, Ray Ray had something inside of him that was going to solve the problem. Ray Ray get off the bike again and say, hey, I can solve the problem. This time they decided to give Ray Ray a chance. Ray Ray jumps out, pulls a knife out of his pocket. Boom, hit the tire. Psst, boom, hit the tire. Psst, psst, psst. The truck load just up and pull it up. Well, why am I saying this here? I'm telling you, you got what it takes inside of you to go back into your local community because you were called, you are the solution to people's pollution. Everything you have inside of you is already there for you to solve the problem. You are a problem solving, your company. It may not look where it's at today. That's okay. Keep saying, I can solve the problem. They may say, no, we'll get a chance to say, I can solve the problem. You may get no at Burger King. That just mean no at Burger King. No, it don't mean no at McDonald's. Keep going. I can solve the problem. So one day they're going to say, okay, I got you. I'm going to give you a chance. And that's the chance that you're going to need that's going to change your whole company around. But why am I saying this? Because you flashes in their face say, I was designed to never, ever give up. And that's my story.
Okay, I hope that has been helpful for you, man. It's awesome every time I listen to it. You know, he always closes out the conferences with the never give up. I just feel it's a perfect place for it. Is the last word or words that people need to hear before they leave the Difference Makers Business Conference. Again, don't forget his book, Break Through the Storm. He also has just written another one. This is a devotional that you can do with your Bible, by the way. It's a daily 30-day, and it's really transformational. If you'll do this, whatever you're going through, if things are great, use this. If things are bad, use this. Whatever state you're in your life, this can be very helpful for you. There's a lot of things in here that are just so prudent to, you know, our lives today, the world today, all of that. So he's also just written another book. I think his life is a hurricane storm, or how his life was a Hurricane 3 storm, or something like that. It's just out. But this one I know you can get on Amazon. As a matter of fact, we'll put the link down below to it. And grab you one of these. It's only about $13 and it'll change your life. So hope you guys have an awesome week. Spring's right around the corner, and everybody's getting ready to get back to work in the northern states. Down here in the south, we ain't stopped working, so that's great. But yeah, y'all have a very, very blessed day, and I hope this has been helpful.